I'm about to explain to you the best way to harness 100% of your focus and put it into that work that you have been dreading to do. Okay, I understand how it feels for people to want to work on something, but at the same time, it bores you so much because you can't find enjoyment in working in it. It bores you so much that it creates procrastination. And procrastination, could be actually a good sign, because you can use that procrastination and you can turn that procrastination into a trigger, okay? A trigger to ask a question inside of your brain, being, what can I do right now to make this procrastination, this boringness, something engaging and fun? How could I make my work fun? Because, in the end, we don't want to be doing something that we don't enjoy doing, okay? What we don't find joy in doing. So what I'm about to explain to you right now is something that really switched my whole mindset and shifted everything that I knew before about paying attention and focusing. Because for the longest time, in high school, I would be daydreaming. I would be called on by the teacher and I had no clue what she just said. And I got to the point where I was daydreaming every single day, and it was all that dopamine getting rushed to my brain, and I ultimately turned to Adderall, and it helped me focus a lot, but in the end it just gave me more anger, more frustration, because I saw how it was to focus, but I still couldn't focus, only if I had that medication. And what I'm about to tell you right now is what shifted everything. It feels like I'm on Adderall 24/7 because I shifted my mindset, okay? I figured out that the word flow, okay, the word flow state, that is something that you want to hop into. It's a way of being. It's not just a state, it's not just a spike of dopamine. They might be similar. Dopamine and flow are very similar, but dopamine is just a spike of dopamine. It's just a spike of, like you could watch porn, you could be watching entertaining things online, anything that is super engaging in your brain is like dopamine, okay? Like endlessly doom scrolling through your phone on social media is a form of dopamine release. But would you rather be endlessly scrolling on your phone, or would you rather go skiing? So skiing is a form of flow, okay? You're doing something and it's timeless. There's no time there. When you're doing it, you're just so in the moment, and it's like everything happens in a perfect sequence, okay? No one would choose to go on their phone. That's why dopamine is so cheap, okay? But being in flow is the number one procrastination killer, actually. It is the number one tool to really be proactive, and it will shift everything. This is what makes people with minimum wage jobs being able to be CEOs and big time earners. This is a super crucial pivotal point in everyone's life, is when they realize that they can actually tap into that flow state. And the way of doing that is realizing when you are in a flow state, how it feels. Remember the triggers that were causing this flow state. It's not super easy to, hop into that flow state. It's like hopping on a frequency. It's not super easy. But did you know that 5% of the time that you are working, you're in a micro flow state, okay? And that's actually a good thing. We don't realize it subconsciously, but we're doing it. That is something we can learn from right there, is being in a micro flow state, starting to realize when we're in a micro flow state. That can make the whole difference of understanding what a flow state really is. So with that being said, a good way to set up a flow environment would be, is it a place where you could relax and do something endlessly without having to worry about time and being frustrated? Is your room organized? For me, the best way for me to hop into a frequency or hop into a flow state is through fixing my surroundings, okay? I make sure that my room is super, super organized and clean. or else it leads to a disorganized mind and a disorganized structure of work, because you need to have a clean and organized room in order to have an organized mind. That's how I look at it, and it makes it just this much easier for me to hop onto a flow state when I'm able to really just clean everything, have a nice aroma in my room of maybe a candle or essential oils. This really helps me hop onto a flow state and get work done. Another way is to think of hopping on a flow state, or think of the flow state as a bar level, okay? So there's a spectrum to this. So right below the bar is boredom, is procrastination. Right above that bar is flow state. And then above that is grit and annoyance and frustration. The way to get into flow state is through setting a challenge for your skill that isn't too grueling, that is definitely attainable, but it spikes a motivation in your mind, and it makes you realize that it's something that is achievable, and it's something that's not too hard, but it's something a little bit outside of your skill set. That will hop you right into a flow state, because you're looking for a challenge, you're looking for that challenge, and it's causing motivation, that signal of motivation in your mind. You know, a lot of people realize that, well, they don't realize, a lot of people are subconsciously reacting to emotions when emotions are really just signals that are there to just aware you of something. You're not supposed to hold on to emotions. You're just supposed to use them as like little notifications in your mind, like, oh, like this happened, or I'm feeling this and I'm feeling this, or someone said this and now I feel this. It's just little notifications in your mind, you know, just to alert you. That's all it is. And a lot of people get so caught up on those emotions and they don't get caught into a flow state. That's what's stopping them from a flow state. So take all of your distractions away from your desk, your phone, shut it off, put it in a different room, and I guarantee you, just be conscious, be aware of what you're doing. Try to engage in it in a fun way. For me, maybe it would be like script writing for YouTube. You know, how can I make that into something fun? You know, maybe I can make that script writing into a different dialogue. Maybe I can make it into Donald Trump's, like how Donald Trump would write a script. I don't know, something that's engaging that would make you want to work harder, okay? Another way of doing this is through, let's say you're a labor worker, okay? And you have these 50-pound weights, 50-pound sandbags that you have to carry to a construction site, okay? You could think of it as, oh, I have to carry this and I don't like doing this, and oh, da-da-da-da-da, and keep complaining about your work. Or you can look at it in the other spectrum and be like, all right, well, maybe I could use this as a workout. I could use these 50-pound weights and do some press-ups with it. Or I could use these 50-pound weights and, you know, it's just making me stronger. You know, it's all about a switch in your mind that could, you know, cause you to be in a flow state. You know, you could really dislike something, but then the next day you could really like it just by switching that switch in your mind. So that's like the main focus that I want you to understand is what you're doing right now, what work you're doing. It needs to be something you enjoy doing. And you could make things that are boring into something that is enjoyable. I understand that you need to, you know, do some boring things in order to make some money, and that's totally fine. Just don't be so attached to the money when it comes to making money and having a job. You know, find a way to have joy in what you do every single day. Whether it be me doing organic outreach, I'm going to be always providing as much value as I can to every single person that I come in contact with. I spread my knowledge because that's something I enjoy. I found my purpose. My purpose is to help others and not in a greedy way. So when people ask me for help and guidance when it comes to outreach, I'm going to give them help and guidance on organic outreach because that's something I'm very good at. And it's something that I gain pleasure from as well, is helping other people. So find what will make you last longer in work and make it a lot more enjoyable, okay? So Flow state, that's something we just covered. Having an enjoyable work setting is something that will get you into flow state. Okay? Like right now, how I'm having this conversation, I'm not paying attention to time. I'm kind of in a flow state right now. Words are just coming out of me. This isn't scripted. And it's just so effortless that I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to think about what I say. You know, a lot of people get caught up when they're doing work like, oh, I have to be so perfectionist, or I have to perfect everything I'm doing. And they're overanalyzing everything. And then at the end of the day, they don't really get that much work done because they overanalyzed everything, and the work kind of sounds robot-y. You know, do the revisions after. Let everything out now. That's how it works. That's how flow state is. So this is just a introduction really into flow state. If you really want to learn more about flow state, I know Andre Daquam has this guy that talks about flow, who's like a New York Times author, and he really goes into great detail on how to hop on that flow state frequency. But yeah, for right now, this is something that was not about organic outreach, but this is super crucial for business, entrepreneurship, and organic outreach. You have to make organic outreach fun for you. You know, you can't look at it as something that's drooling and boring and, oh, I have to go and outreach to X amount of people. Why not just have fun with it? Why not communicate? Why not do things different? Think outside the box. Be more creative when you're doing outreach. Okay? So that's really all I have today on the flow state. My next video is going to be back on that advanced guide on organic outreach. But for now, this is a good way to shift that mindset and really hone in on your skill set too. Because you could focus on that skill and sharpen that sword of that skill that you have by hopping into that flow state. So I'll see you guys on the next video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please take what I said and actually try to implement it into your life.